The sweetness of this nectar, a practice for cleansing the doors of perception. I read a while back about the sweetness that I am. Further writing about the joys of devotion in the short essay, The Nectar of True Devotion. Today, I want to attempt to share a delicious practice that seems to lace my experiences with joy and mystery, especially amidst the turmoil and the challenges that is life. It is a practice that shifts how I see, how I experience, and how I relate to the world. In the Christian text, James, the brother of Jesus, was said to have written, "Count it all joy when you go through trials and tribulations." That line always puzzled me. What joy could possibly be counted in pain? We may begin to suspect that there's something outside of suffering that can be counted as joy. It certainly shouldn't be about a heavenly destination to acquire in another lifetime. It gotta be here and now in this very experience of living, hidden right in the middle of the living that we are already living, if that makes sense. Now, I warn that this is not about escaping the very dense experience of living life in a world full of its day to day challenges. We still need tools, skills, and relationships to meet the challenges of being human. What I share here is a way in which we can see the world, a way in which we can see at all. One that, as practiced more often, helps fill me with a sense of magic, of mystery, that existence even exists at all, or whatever you will call all of this nonsense. Once again, life will still life, but we can be rest assured that through practice, we can start to intuit that what we are seeing from this perspective is not all there is to see. There's a way of seeing that makes the ordinary pulse with mystery. There's something mysterious beyond the seeing. Or is this not what has been hidden for ages? I'll start by using this metaphor. Think of the ocean, think of the sea. On the surface, the waves are restless and loud and sometimes scary, but ultimately moving. Now, when the diver goes beyond the surface, he experiences a change. There's a quietness, a serenity, a clearness that does not know the turbulence back on the surface. You see what I mean? It's perhaps we can take this metaphor to investigate the possibility that there's a depth beyond us or what we perceive as us. Many practices, somatic, meditative, or even intellectual, they point us towards that depth. Yet in the end, only your own direct experience matters. Over time, something becomes obvious. What begins to reveal itself as one explores more and more is the true understanding of how the fish, despite its entire experience in water, has never recognized or even seen water. Why? Because it's closer than close. Its entire existence is enveloped by water. Its entire life is made of water. In more ways than not, the fish itself, a type of stream, an expression of ocean itself. So also we may begin to realize that God, whatever it is that we truly intuit as God, is closer than close to us, expressing itself as us, through us, in us. It presents its face as the life and circumstances that appear to us, goes back into hiding in us, unseen, untouched, unscathed by the same appearances and circumstances that we often get lost in. Oh, how poetic this sounds. Until, bloop, we go beyond the surface. Talking about poetic sound. William Blake writes in The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern. But how about if we just jumped right into this experience using Nana Yoga, another phrase for the path of self inquiry? So, the contemplative practice here, it's simple, really simple. You can return to this throughout the day. Each question is a doorway, so don't rush the answers. Let the asking itself open the space. So check in with yourself. What are you thinking about right now? How do you feel? What is your breathing pattern, as it were, right now? Now notice these without judgment. And for overthinkers, notice your overthinking too. Now let's turn deeper. What is it that thinks? You may say to yourself, myself, duh, but that's okay. Just notice. What is it that experiences what you're experiencing? Notice the subject object split here. You experiencing what you're experiencing. Notice that you're aware of those thoughts and feelings and your breathing. Notice that that's experiencing. So now let your attention gently rest on that which notices. Now don't overthink this. Just be with your own experience, even if it feels confusing. Be with that notices what it's noticing. Now continue to notice that you are aware of your body and your mind and sensations. You begin to notice that this awareness itself can't be located. You can definitely point to what is aware of your experience. Is that true? Could this be false? That you can notice that what you're noticing has no location, or that which notices has no location. It just notices the location itself. Now realize how strange it would be to say, I experience myself, because who would the I be that experiences you? Now keep returning here to this vagueness, to this unknowableness, this weirdness. Circumstances, sensations, and thoughts will continue, but you are aware of them. You're not detaching or denying that these exist, that these experiences are experiences. You're just simply recognizing that there's something that's aware of these circumstances, these thoughts, and these sensations, and these feelings. At some point, you may begin to notice there's a sweetness in this investigation. There's a sweetness in seeing yourself not as an object, but that which goes beyond the object. And in that comes a quiet joy that does not depend on the surface. And that sweetness is what it is to go beyond mind. All right. So the more often one practices this, the more natural it feels to rest as the diver, even while the waves crash above. And once again, this is not escape, it's intimacy with what is closer than close. Oh, isn't this then so obvious that I'm, I am a piece of life, just the way you are a piece of life? No, not a separate piece, but the piece that's the whole, just like a drop of water from the ocean is the ocean itself. My gosh, isn't this deliciously delightful and delightfully delicious? Thank you, friends.